Hello Pisces, this is Kate from Clear Blue Tarot with a reading for you today. So I'm going to jump right in, and in the center, first let me start off by saying I don't usually pull reversals. I keep my cards all upright, but all these cards came out upright except for two, and because I looked at the meanings and the way they were fitting in with the reading, I decided to keep them reversed. So we have in the center, we have the Beaver Spirit with the Himself card from the Fairy Oracles, crossed by the Unity card from the Fairy Oracles. So that's starting us off with the Beaver saying that you always want to make sure that your new endeavors are formed on top of solid foundations. So it is saying that you are working at this solid foundation. You have that perhaps within yourself, but you do have like a strong amount of challenge, because the Unity is coming as a challenge and the Himself being reversed is a challenge. So the Himself card reversed, I wasn't that familiar with that, so I did look it up, and it says you could feel blocked, limp, drained, depression, physical or emotional. Energy may be locked into obsessions or may swing from blocked to out of control. And there could be a misuse of authority, coming out as arrogant, aggressive, violent, and there is a potential for a destructive energy, like a volcanic, release, explosion energy. So I don't know if how that's applying to you. You'll know based on your circumstances. You should be able to tell right off the bat if in any way this reading is applying to you. It could mean that there's some sort of abusive relationship in your life, or you've had abusive relationships in your past, and it kind of messes with your desire to have this solid foundation. And maybe on your own you are able to have this solid foundation, but when you get it all established, it's never completely what you want it to be, because you have this blocked depression energy or violent energy around you somehow, inside of you or outside of you. Either you're attracting it, it's usually both. You have it inside of you as your shadow, and then you attract it outside of you, or you've had it outside of you so that it becomes your shadow inside, and it can manifest in all those negative ways that I just touched on. And so to be challenged by the Unity card, Unity is about unity consciousness, believing that we're all one, and this makes for this to be a challenging reading, because if you've suffered abuse, or you have tendencies towards depression or things like this, it can be hard to see yourself as one with others, because you resist that. You don't want to be like people who have abused you, so you repress it and it sneaks out. Or you don't see yourself the same as others because you're depressed, so you see others as better than you, and you're down. So either way, it's not true. It's true that we are all one, and so to embrace your shadow, don't linger in it, pass through it into the light, heal it with light. But this Unity energy can be used to heal these things that make you feel separate and different from others. So that's the center of your reading. We're starting off with a bang, and it just keeps going from there. So if this reading isn't applying to you, certainly you don't need to linger on and hear all the rest, because it's kind of a tough tale today. So in the background here, in your recent past, you have the Crow Spirit, which is kind of coming into this belief or understanding about co-creation, about manifestation, how when we align our will with the will of the divine, we co-create our reality, for good or ill. The powers of the universe are there to just empower whatever you decide you want to use them for. So to be aware of your power is a great responsibility, because then you have to decide how you want to use that. So, you know, you've come into the power and maybe you've started using it, but it's kind of going through a little bit of this shadowy energy, and you're going to need to figure out how to fix that, or, you know, alter that in some way. So you're resting on this otter spirit, which is the soulmate card, and you did get that echoed up here, confirming something up here. You got the freedom and the soulmate card up here. So you do have soulmates. We all have soulmates around us. It isn't just one, it's many. And it's calling upon you to understand that and reach out to those people in your life that you can call soulmates and ask for guidance and assistance to get through this process. It does encourage you to seek out therapy if you feel like that would be helpful to you in regards to this himself being reversed. But if not therapy, there's certainly friends. Seek out friends that can be loving and that you can support, and they can support you back, and have this relationship to help with this firm foundation, because the otter spirit is in your firm foundation. So you are very capable of being loving and being in a nice symbiotic relationship away from these shadowy energies. So it's encouraging you to seek that out. Your near future, you have the armadillo spirit, which is about creating healthy boundaries. So if there are people in your life that you are experiencing these darker energies of the himself reversed, you want to set boundaries with those people and not let that energy into your space, because it's going to continue encroaching upon your healing. So the armadillo is really reminding you to protect yourself and nurture yourself with the good people around you. Crowning the reading here, we have the sacrifice card. And this card talks a lot about how sacrifice has evolved from the past, when sacrifices were quite bloody and quite harsh, and they have evolved into something more beautiful, where we sacrifice ourselves in ways of creativity. We give of ourselves something precious to us, and thereby put that out there. Kind of like, you know, when you have a child and you put your child out into the world, it can be painful to watch your child go through things that you've gone through in your past, and you try to teach them as best you can to protect them and nurture them to have the strength to cope with the world. But it is still a sacrifice to send an innocent, sweet, loving child out into the world and not quite know what they're going to run into, and it stays forever. So, and it's also like if you create a work of art, you make a painting, and then you want to share it, and you're so joyous to put it out there and share it, and it's a sacrifice though, because you're sharing something that you made with your heart, and if it's not well received, you know, that can cause some pain. But you know, the sacrifice is encouraged in spite of this. So you're resting inside of yourself on this Six of Swords energy, which is about setting off on a new venture. And it looks like in this card, they've come out of the choppy waters, and there's a rainbow above. So it looks like there's a bright promise inside of you of something new. So perhaps you've already started this healing, and you've already begun some of these things, and you know that you're headed into something better, and so you're feeling that inside. And what you're showing on the outside is the scarab beetle, which is about magic as well, just like the crow. And it's about magic working through you and co-creating. So it looks like people are noticing that you are quite magical, and whether they are aware of that or not, they are paying attention to you and seeing something sparkly about you. So this is good. Your hopes and fears is the Hermit, and so either you're hoping for this meditative time to kind of look within and do this process, or you are hoping it's over. You don't want to do it anymore. You're hoping that the Hermit phase is over. Either way, it will be soon. If it isn't quite yet, you will head that direction. So the final card here I got is the Five of Water, which is the Five of Cups. And it's about some sort of disappointment. It's about something that you had invested in and hoped for that didn't turn out quite like you wanted, but it's not, it always says all hope is not lost. So just because an aspect of what you're looking for or one way that you were looking to fulfill your dreams didn't come true, life's not over. Life's continuing to grow. There's always more opportunities. There's always ways to refine what you created and make it better next time. And I clarified that with these two cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I got the Panther, and that was the other card that came out reversed. And I got the Zebra. Now those are both from the fire element of the Animal Spirit Guidebook, so I thought that was interesting. The two cards I pulled are both from that element. And the more like negative one, the lesson one, would be the Panther, and it's about self-destruction, and it can be often about addictions, unhealthy behavior. So that might be somehow part of this shadow stuff that you need to look into. And it's saying that to work with that and to heal that is by embracing the Zebra, which is the creative, eccentric, visionary card. And the way to put into balance is to make art or to have an epic adventure. So it's encouraging you to be worldly and travel, constantly be on the move, having new adventures, meeting new people, and being very enthusiastic and artistic, creative. So that's your way out of this Five of Water, self-destructive, energy. If you've been disappointed in life and you've turned to escapism, I mean, that's very, very, very common. That's why often it comes up in these readings, in a lot of the readings, because so many of us, and I have been one in the past myself, have had some sorts of addictions and escapism that turned unhealthy, and we needed to pull back from that. So your final outcome here is the Sacred Scar. And I did pull that to confirm, oh my God, I lost the word, to explain these two, the Freedom and the Soulmate card, because I was wondering what exactly that was about. So it looks to me like this Sacred Scar is talking about perhaps a soulmate energy that was more of maybe a karmic energy that you needed to become free from, and you ended up with a scar because of this freeing yourself. Soulmates come in all shapes and sizes, and the otter soulmates that are at your foundation are the ones that are going to be really positive influences in your life. But perhaps this soulmate that's up here with the Sacrifice, the Five of Cups, and the Sacred Scar, perhaps that was something that you needed to be free from. And it could be someone, it could be even a parent, can be a soulmate that you chose to come here and incarnate with to learn some karmic lessons. And now you need to be free. You've learned the lessons, and it's time to learn and free yourself. And you are going to end up with this Sacred Scar, which is actually a good thing. And it's really encouraging you with the description of the Sacred Star to not blame the universe, not blame spirit for what you've suffered. A lot of times people who've suffered something will end up turning against God, turning against the universe, however you want to call it, and saying, well, if that was true, then this wouldn't have happened. There's a real wisdom to be learned in how the world works. And, I would suggest studying that if you're concerned with understanding it. Spirit's only love. And so you place your soul and you have like an agreement and contracts and karma to work through, to grow and learn, and that's why you're here. So don't cut yourself off from spirit. Don't cut yourself off from this. It's the creative power of the universe. And if you cut yourself off from this, that's where it leads to all these darker, shadowy energies. So the scar, it says, Spirit knows that sometimes we are to move through intense experiences before we can gain access to the light. These experiences teach us things only those who have truly suffered and brought their suffering to consciousness and healing can know. The lessons learned include compassion, wisdom, strength, and fearlessness, faith in spirit and in humanity, and the recognition of the challenges of awakening whilst having trust in the ultimate power of the light. Such a soul becomes one truly badass and divine human being, a powerful healer and a light bearer in this world. So you don't have to lose your edge. You can be edgy. You can be who you are because your scar helped form you. And then your creativity will express through these things. And it's a beautiful thing. So there's so many people on the planet that have suffered and then have become just the most brilliant light bearers. So it looks like that's what you're being encouraged to embrace with this journey that these cards have talked about. So if this applies to you, I wish you all the best, and hopefully this helped guide you a little. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your holiday season, New Year. I mean, this is a timeless reading, but if you are watching it right now, I hope you have a nice rest of your year, and I will see you again probably right before your birthday time. Thank you so much, Pisces.